the appropriate place to vote. So we think, and we're happy to work with members of this House, of course, it's important to ensure the integrity of our electoral system, but also to ensure that it's accessible and fair for everyone.
For Kitchener Centre.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll start by making clear that Greens support this bill, notwithstanding this one silly provision with respect to pensions. We too will be working across party lines to remove that from this bill. But when it comes to this time allocation, by my count, we've had a total of 5 members who've spoken to this bill at second reading. In fact, I think the minister himself has only spoken to the bill when he rose to introduce it originally. And so earlier in the day, it came to time allocation on the budget bill. Greens supported that, recognizing there is some dilatory tactics at play this time of year. But on this particular bill, it's been up one time on a Friday for a couple hours. How does the minister justify this time allocation on this particular bill?
The Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, our colleague from Kitchener Centre, I think, understands the parliamentary process well. He knows that when this legislation gets to committee, it will be an opportunity for members on the committee and others who want to attend the committee to hear from expert witnesses. Obviously, the Chief Electoral Officer and others will be important witnesses for the committee. It'll come back to the House at report stage and third reading. We're also conscious, Madam Speaker, of the importance of in adopting legislation like this in a timely way to allow Elections Canada to be ready to implement these provisions. So I wouldn't obviously pretend that our colleague from Kitchener Centre, because he does support this legislation, and we appreciate that, would in some cynical way, as the Conservatives do, pretend they want to take more time precisely so they can ensure that Elections Canada doesn't have reasonable time to be ready to implement these changes. Those are discussions I've had, Madam Speaker, with the Chief Electoral Officer, and we think it's time for Parliament to consider this legislation in committee, and that's the result of today's proceeding.
Comments, the Honourable for St. Albert Edmonton.
Madam Speaker, this is about as cynical